Welcome to the next episode of Millennial Real Life Budget Review. Yes, she wants a $40,000 car and she's bringing home $5,200 per month in income. Let's take a look at her budget to see how we can hit her financial goal of buying a new car. All right, to jump straight into this, I think the price of cars right now has just gone crazy due to inflation, due to the pandemic. So we're going to see really high price cars for even used cars, but I think I have some solutions for her. $40,000 for a car is a lot of money. Let's take a look at the situation. So this is a product manager who works for a telecom company in Toronto, Canada. She says the biggest thing that she struggles with financially is lifestyle inflation. So she says she used to work in textiles where I made a lot of money in commission. I left that job 7 months ago to pursue a new career path. I like this job more and I make more in base salary, but I don't make commissions. I'm really missing those extra few grand. I don't know how to deflate my lifestyle. I'm also trying to save for a new car as my 2012 Ford Focus is over 200,000 kilometers, which is roughly 124,000 miles, and she doesn't know where to begin. So her top goal really is to save $40,000 for a 2023 Toyota Camry. Very specific, which I love. I love that you have a specific year, make, and model of the car that you want. I also asked how much is in their emergency fund. They said $12,500. And then also, what are some other details that we can know? $5,000 is already saved for the new car. She also is married, and she says that her husband and her split major expenses such as the mortgage, condo fees, property taxes, Wi-Fi, etc. They keep their finances separate, and that's because they have always done it this way and didn't happen to combine things when we got married. I think we like having financial independence from one another. Why? We're both decent with money and currently aren't working towards one major goal. Like we did before with our condo and the wedding, so we don't need to have visibility into the other person's finances. I'm already having like a physical reaction to that, because if you're married, this is the partner that I hope you're going to have for the rest of your life, and so we're talking about financial goals in our future. We want to be able to save for common things, whether that be a car that we both enjoy, a new home that we both enjoy, vacations, retirement, all of those things. Perhaps you want to have children later in life. Whatever it may be, there are going to be some commonalities that you guys already have. You already have common expenses. So have you ever heard that story about the draft horse? How one draft horse by itself can pull 8,000 pounds, but if it's paired up with another draft horse and you got two draft horses working together, they can combine pull 24,000 pounds, so literally 3 times their weight, but it's just two of them together. Think about that for your finances. Let's go ahead and hop into her budget and let's see what's going on. All right, so this is a look at the budget template that they submitted. So $5,226 is the monthly take home and their expenses. So they're netting about $12.79, which is great. You always wanna make sure that money in equals minus money coming out is close to zero as possible. And that means you have every dollar being allocated towards a specific part of your budget. You've got categories for spending and saving and investing and debt, and you want to make sure that money is allocated for. So it looks like the only debt that they have is the mortgage. So they're literally debt free aside from the mortgage. And now I'm glad that I had asked her about her shared expenses, because this is actually her portion of their mortgage payment is the $1,400. So let's take a look at her other fixed items here. She's got a phone plan and paying off an iPhone 13, which is contributing to that $69.23 cell phone charge. $84 for internet, groceries, about $300 what she budgeted for, so probably $600 combined between her and her partner. Property taxes paid divided by 12, love that. Gas is a little pricey, but is a little bit pricier in Canada. Oil change, $100 per month. I'm curious about that because usually you're getting oil changes every 3 months, and so I know an oil change does not cost $300. So you may want to take a look at that. And then car insurance, $168 per car per month. Wow, okay. That seems really high, but again, if you're living in a high cost of living area like Toronto where it's heavily populated, that could be contributing to that. Let's take a look at your fun stuff. Restaurants, clothing $200 but spent $400. I feel like that could be an area that you could adjust. Gifts, fun money, subscriptions, and then you have $100 still going towards the emergency fund. Maybe. I'm confused about these. Are these your actual numbers? So let me know about that. And then it didn't look like you filled out any of the pre-tax contributions, but that's okay. All right, so I actually looked at the emergency fund first. That's always my first area of focus, because while you're in debt, you should have 2 to 3 months of basic living expenses set aside for emergencies. And then when you become debt-free, aim for an emergency fund amount of equal to at least 6 months of living expenses or more. So for you, I just did a sum of your fixed expenses here, the stuff that we know we're absolutely going to be spending money on every single month. So your basic monthly living expenses is $2,500 times 6, which would be your minimum for a fully funded emergency fund, and this could be more, would be around $15,000. And you told me that you had $12,500 already set aside. So if we need around $15,000 and we already got $12,500 put together, then you only need $2,600 more to put into that emergency fund. Ideally, you're going to have this emergency fund money set aside in a high yield savings account that's earning interest for you. So a lot of the banks here, including Ally Bank, Capital One, are earning more than 3%, 3.75%. And so you'll want to take a look at savings accounts that have interest-bearing accounts. So if we need $2,600, this is where I would really start beefing this up. And also, as I was seeing this, since you already have your mortgage payment here budgeted, then we don't need to include this up here at the debt unless you're really focused on paying off your mortgage fast. And I kind of go back and forth with the whole paid off mortgage and doing that as fast as you can. If you're in a season of life where it's early in your marriage, you're thinking about having children, or you're like, this is not our dream home, I could see us moving somewhere else, then I think an early mortgage payoff is not the right move. So I'm going to take that out completely, because it did look like your actual monthly payment, see this, it was actually being counted twice. So when I delete this, we've actually freed up $1,400. So that means if you could pay yourself $1,400 this month and next month, you'll have a completely fully funded emergency fund. So for you, this is in order of priority, $1,400 per month for 2 months to emergency fund, then stop. Then you have that emergency fund taken care of. The next thing that we want to address is your car fund. Now, I looked on Kelley Blue Book. This is a resource that I constantly go to understand what is the fair value of cars that I see on the market, whether they be new or used. Now, I saw on here that there were Toyota Camrys, 2023 Toyota Camrys, that were listed in the low 30s. So I think $40,000 for the Toyota Camry, unless I'm off base and in Canada, they're just priced in the low 40s for you. I think you could really set your bar lower and aim for fully funded car fund of $35K on the high end, but I think you can totally, by the time you get this saved up, I think they're going to be priced more around $30K. Also keep in mind, you said you had a 2012 Ford Focus with high miles. I'm assuming you're not going to keep that car and you're probably going to sell it. The best thing that I ever did for myself was sell my car on my own by listing at that time. I listed it on Craigslist. This was actually back in 2015, which is hard to imagine that like 8 years ago, Craigslist was actually like a reliable source to buy and sell things, but now Facebook Marketplace I think is replacing that. So I said, okay, what if she sells the Ford Focus at a fair market value? And so I just kind of input your things. I obviously don't know the complete situation of your car, what kind of repairs it needs, what color, what kind of packages it is. But if I did just kind of the baseline of a 2012 Ford Focus SE sedan, You're looking at a trade-in range between $1,800 to $2,800 with a trade-in value of $2,300. I totally think that you could sell this on your own if you have the title in hand for $2,500 on Facebook Marketplace. Make sure you're taking lots of pictures, multiple pictures outside, really nice bright lighting. Make sure the car is detailed and washed. Have a really great long description of how that car has served you over the past couple of years, and I think there's no doubts that you would be able to sell that in cash. So to me, I think you're already sitting on the $5K plus the $2,500 of the Ford Focus. So to me, you already have $7,500 saved for this vehicle. So if I said 35 was actually your aim minus 7,500, honestly, I think your aim for the car should be $27,500. So if I'm looking for 27,500, then we could take this extra $1,400 that I see from your budget and start adding it. And let's keep in mind, we're going to take this out. Actually, by the time you're done with the emergency fund, this is going to be the Toyota Camry. And I'm not sure what your investing situation is, because if you're with an employer that offers a retirement plan, you could keep it as is. If you're doing outside investing, you're debt free, so you have multiple options. So we could play around with this number, but let's say that we want to do 27.5 as our goal, and we know that we just freed up $1,500 in our budget, so divided by 1,500. And it's going to take you 18 months to hit that goal of $27,500, knowing you already have the 5K set up, knowing that you're going to sell your Ford Focus and get $2,500 for that vehicle. I think a year and a half to hit your goal is fantastic. If you can make that Ford Focus last, and honestly, a year and a half from now, that 2023 Toyota Camry is going to be worth less. I totally think that you would have a ton of money to have bargaining and negotiation power because you have all the cash in your hands. So we would be aiming for $1,500 saved, and we still even have a net, so you could even go more. And I didn't even touch anything with your fund money at all. So 18 months at $1,500 per month saved to hit 27.5, and then sell Ford Focus at 2,500 cash. Easy. I can see this easily for you. We didn't even have to touch anything else. If you feel like your Ford Focus cannot make it a year and a half, okay, let's say that is the case, then we could really cut down on some of the fund money expenses. But honestly, some of your fund money expenses really isn't that much. I mean, I could, turn this down to $50. I could turn this down to $100. So then I just freed up $289. So let's say I can change this to $1,750 per month. Let's see how that changes things. So 27.5 divided by 1750, 15 months. So we've earned 3 months back of our time. I easily think that you can save for this car in 15 to 18 months. If you have any extra income opportunities, you get bonuses, you get extra paychecks in the month, such as those months where you get 3 paychecks if you get paid bi-weekly. Take that extra paycheck and put it towards your car savings fund. Also, make sure that your car savings fund is in a high yield savings account, separate from your emergency fund. To me, if you want to keep this, actually, this is not something that I have advised for people, but if you're using a bank like Ally, where they have savings buckets, this would totally work to your advantage. So with Ally, you could have one high yield savings account that's earning 3.75% interest. Then you could put your fully funded emergency fund in there and the car savings fund. Then use the savings buckets to delineate that money. So you've earmarked the 5K plus for your Toyota Camry, and then you've allocated the $15K for your emergency fund. And then you can see them separated inside of those buckets, but collectively it's earning more interest because you have all of the money, all of the savings in one account that's earning the 3.75%. I think that would be a really smart way to do it. You already seem really savvy on your finances. The only thing that I would change for you, other than our situation here for the car, is really think about those shared financial goals with your husband. I truly believe that having that open transparency with your partner on your financial goals, because you were saying, well, after the wedding and stuff, we really don't need to have insight on each other's financial lives. Yes, you do. I totally think you do. Imagine pulling your resources together. Imagine bringing his income into the table and saying, you know, this isn't my car, this is our car. This is what we're going to be purchasing together. Imagine having his income and adding in all of your expenses together. If we know that he has a savings of an extra $1,000, imagine how much faster you guys could save up to purchase that car. It'd be ridiculous. I bet you could pay for and save for that car in cash in less than a year if we could pull in his income as well. I think that would be fantastic. And then also, not just for the car, think about the other savings goals and financial goals that you have, retirement goals, a new house, maybe kids, maybe fur babies. And think about all those things that you can do together. And that's why I think it's really important to pull your resources together. Another way that you could do this is that you could have a joint checking account where you are paying for those shared expenses, and then you could have separate savings accounts like a his and hers, so that you could kind of build up those funds and do with it whatever you want. I've seen that work for couples, but I do feel that transparency into each other's financial lives and not viewing it as his and hers, as like view it as a collective pool, is going to just take you guys to the next level. Truly, that is the way you're going to scale up financially. All right, so that's a look at this person who makes $5,200 per month, who wants a $40K car, and honestly, I think she could get it for the low 30s. If you want to take this conversation deeper, don't forget that I have my one-on-one budget coaching program, Budget Bootcamp, where you and I talk about your financial goals privately over Zoom, so we can get you back to a place of feeling financially confident that leads to more fun and less payments. That is totally legal. And don't forget, if you are not part of the Debt-Free Millennials community right here on YouTube, I have a goal of hitting 100,000 subscribers. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and pass along to a friend, and I'll catch you in the next video.